During their travels across the worlds, the traveler and her twin brother are confronted by an unknown entity as they are about to depart to the next world in search of a new adventure. In the ensuing battle, the unknown entity seals off the brother before doing the same to the traveler, sealing their powers and putting both of them into bat. The traveler eventually wakes up after an undisclosed amount of time and proceeds to wander across Teyvat, searching for her lost brother. The traveler is around Cape Oath in the region of Mondstadt when she fishes Paimon out from the sea, thus saving her from drowning. Grateful for the rescue, Paimon becomes her travel companion and guide. She suggests that they get in contact with the Seven in order to help the traveler look for her lost sibling. Making their way to Starfell Lake, the traveler touches the Anemo statue of the Seven, gaining the power of Anemo itself, which flows through her veins like a brisk morning breeze. As they continue on their path, they spot a huge green and blue feathered dragon heading towards a distant forest. Upon seeing the massive creature, the pair both spot the dragon and a stranger, the latter trying to calm the dragon down, but an unexpected reaction from the traveler's newfound powers leads to them alerting the dragon to their presence. The stranger also flees, leaving behind a crimson, blood-colored teardrop crystal, which the traveler takes. Once Paimon and the traveler leave the forest, the pair are halted by a scout, who introduces herself as the outrider of the Knights of Avonius, Amber. She escorts them to Mondstadt, the City of Freedom, after she deals with a Hilichurl camp nearby, which the traveler and Paimon assist with. Impressed by her actions at the camp, Amber gives the traveler a wind glider, but after a brief flight test, the dragon that the traveler and Paimon had previously sighted, dubbed Storm Terror by the locals, starts rampaging throughout the region and unleashing multiple windstorms in the process. The traveler, with the aid of the stranger, albeit unaware of his presence at this point, is able to drive Storm Terror off. The confrontation between the traveler and Storm Terror catches the eye of Kaya, the cavalry captain of the Knights of Avonius, and so he asks the Outlanders to meet the acting Grand Master, Jean, at their primary base of operations. Jean asks them to get a handle on the ley line disruptions powering Storm Terror from 3 of the Four Winds temples, as prescribed by Lisa, the Light's librarian. After dealing with the temples, Paimon suggests that they return to the Knights' headquarters to see what they should do next. After the traveler dealt with the temples, she and Paimon come back to a now peaceful Mondstadt to report to Jean. They find a masked woman talking to Jean, who suggests they kill the dragon to end the problem. The acting Grand Master dismisses the woman, stating that she has no respect, as she doesn't know that Storm Terror is actually Dvalin, one of the Four Winds. After the masked woman stalks away, Jean then spots the two and explains to them that the woman she spoke to is a Fatui diplomat. Regarding the dragon situation, the traveler remembered the gem they found at the forest earlier, hoping the knights would know what it is. Lisa tries to study it, but it emits harmful energy towards vision users, so the traveler puts it back in her pocket. The traveler knows the reason, but remains silent as Jean grants the title Honorary Knight to her. Paimon had known there was another presence when they found the gem, and subconsciously identified the boy running in the streets as the same person. After tracking down the stranger via his footprints with her elemental sight, the stranger sings the Song of Storm Terror, identified as Dvalin, and the reason for his rampage. The stranger, Vinti, recognizes the traveler. The traveler takes out the gem, but to her surprise, it is already purified. Vinti then realizes that the traveler's powers can assist in saving Dvalin, and tells her to meet him at the place where Mondstadt's hero had ascended to Celestia, the great tree in Windrise. The traveler arrives at the great tree, but an eye of the storm appears, and the traveler is forced to dispatch it first. Vinti then explains to the pair that Dvalin is suffering from degradation, which the Abyss Order is taking advantage of. He had tried to cure him earlier, but the traveler's unexpected arrival ended up poisoning him, although he had recovered by then. Vinti then tells them to meet him outside the Favonius Cathedral to get a certain holy lyre der Himmel. Entering the cathedral, Vinti asks Sister Gotelind for the lyre, even revealing his true identity as Barbados, the Animal Archon. But the sister is not amused and believes he is insane. Vinti then suggests the traveler ask for it, which she does, but Gotelind tells her that they'll need papers signed from the Grand Master, Seneschal, and community representative to do so, as the lyre is only used in Ludi Harpastum at the moment. Following Vinti's brilliant new plan to steal the holy lyre, the traveler waits for the guards around the area to drop before sneaking into the vaults to take the lyre. Before she can do so, a Fatui mage warps in and takes the lyre, just as a guard enters and spots them. Vinti is relaxing outside when he hears Paimon screaming, telling them that they've been busted and need to run. Vinti creates wind currents that drop them off near the Angel's Share, where he enters and tells a red-haired man, Diluc, to give them their least conspicuous table. The man is curious, but agrees to their request, and shortly after, 2 knights appear and ask Diluc if he knows where the suspects went. He points them in the wrong direction. With the knights gone, Diluc then orders them down to ask what they were doing. Vinti introduces the traveler to Diluc, who recognizes her as the honorary knight, calling it a shame that she had joined the Knights of Favonius. Vinti gives a performance to explain the situation to Diluc, who agrees to help them by organizing his contacts and telling them to meet the following night. On the following night, the pair find that Diluc has contacted Jean. While both groups are surprised, Diluc explains that the Jean before them is just there as the normal Jean, and not as the acting Grand Master. Jean tells them that she's doing this in private because she has few options to act officially as the acting Grand Master. She also believes in their cause, as she is aware of Dvalin's past. Diluc, having managed to interrogate some Fatui beforehand, tells them that the lyre is not in the Goth Grand Hotel, but in a stronghold outside the city premises. The party manages to acquire the lyre after defeating several enemies, but not before a Fatui agent threatens that a lady named Signora will end them. The lyre is in relatively poor shape, however, so they acquire more teardrop crystals across the region and purify them to fully restore the lyre. They then head to Star Snatch Cliff to summon Dvalin and purify him. However, an Abyss Mage appears and convinces Dvalin not to trust the group, resulting in the dragon flying away and the lyre being completely broken. Diluc brings some information regarding the Abyss Order to the group, having encountered and slain one of their operatives before. Vinti explains that although he is one of the 7, his long absences have led him to become the weakest of the gods, hence why he needs to rely on his people's help. Diluc informs the group that his people have tracked the mage down at the winery. After killing it, they note that it dissipated some special energy in the process. Vinti realizes that this energy was what had been severing his connection to Dvalin, who has since resided in some ancient ruins. The energy also allowed him to understand the magic powering the bearers sealing the ruins, and he can dispel it. Jean believes that they really might need to kill Dvalin in order to bring peace after all, but Vinti states that they still can achieve their original goal due to the traveler's ability to purify the teardrop crystal. After arriving outside Stormterror's lair, they are attacked by a group of hilichurls. They manage to repel their attackers, with Jean and Vinti noting that hilichurls generally avoid elemental areas. D-Luke states that the Abyss Order is manipulating the Hilichurls in an attempt to stall them, but that will not be enough. Venti then dispels the barrier. As they navigate the layer and reach the top, Venti realizes they can't get any further, as the ruins are actually part of old Mondstadt, from a time when the animal Archon was the tyrant Decarabian. He refuses to divulge more on the story for the time being. The group notes that there is a light actuator and activate it after some struggle. Venti hopes that they can bring Dvalin back to his senses and convince him that neither the people of Mondstadt nor Venti himself had betrayed him in the first place. He then uses his powers to imbue the Traveler with animo energy once again. The Traveler catches up to Dvalin and manages to purify him of the corrupted energy placed on him by the Abyss Order in the Domain battle, when the platforms crumble beneath them all. Dvalin saves the group, asking Venti why he did not ask him for his protection. Venti states that while he didn't want him to listen to the Abyss Order, he did not necessarily want him to obey Venti either, and that if he had ordered him to act free, it wouldn't be true freedom. Dvalin then flies off, reassured that no one is after him. Meanwhile, Jean clears up the misunderstanding between the people and Dvalin, who they believed came out of nowhere to attack, and disappeared just as quickly. After returning to the city, the group is greeted by Amber, who reveals that while they were dealing with Dvalin, she and the other knights repelled a coordinated Hilichurl attack on the city. She wondered where Kaya had gone during the attack and told them to meet up with her at Good Hunter. At the tavern, they find Kaya, who tells them that he was suspicious of the attack and remained in the city, while everyone else was fighting at the ancient ruins, intercepting a group of Abyss Order infiltrators and besting them. He learned from the infiltrators that the Abyss Order is united under a single leader. Spotting Amber leaving, he takes his leave, aware that she is still angry at him for apparently abandoning the knights for a drink. Amber is upset at Kaya's supposed lack of work ethics before asking the Traveler what she intends on doing. Paimon tells her that they'll be traveling throughout Teyvat to meet the Seven. Amber wishes them luck on their journey and that they will always be welcome in Mondstadt. After eating, she remembers that Jean asked for their presence at the cathedral regarding the holy liar Derhamel. The Traveler makes her way to the cathedral, where she finds Venti and Jean waiting for her. Jean introduces her to Barbara, the deaconess of the church, who asks for the lyre. The Traveler hands over a damaged lyre, much to her panic. Venti sighs and repairs the lyre before Barbara takes it and runs off, intending to never let it out of her sight again. Venti chuckles and states that he simply used some magic to make it look as if it was fixed, and runs off. The Traveler pursues him outside, upon which a gust of cold air freezes Venti and Paimon, sending the latter flying away. Two Fatui agents appear and restrain the Traveler, while a lady and two Fatui mages enter the scene. The woman calls Venti a rodent ruler and continues to taunt Venti, and he in turn returns the favor, enraging her. She then plunges her arm into his chest, ripping out a chest piece, a gnosis. The scary woman, Senora, orders her subordinates to quickly flee the scene before the knights can arrive. One of the two agents backhands the Traveler, knocking her out cold. The Traveler comes to sometime later, where Barbara had found the two. Venti came to first, but her healing had no effect on him, and he abruptly left. Jean appears to understand his intentions, but the Traveler decides to keep quiet for her sake. Jean and the Traveler arrive at Windrise, where they find Venti at the great tree and inquire about the Gnosis. Venti reluctantly explains to them what the Gnosis is. He also explains that the woman that attacked them is Senora, the 8th of the 11 Fatui Harbingers. people who have been given great powers by Snezhnaya's Archon, the Tsaritsa. Paimon realizes that the Tsaritsa is also one of the 7 who the Traveler is looking for. Finti then explains more about the Tsaritsa, stating that although the current 7 usually don't get along well, they still respected each other. He is still surprised by the Tsaritsa's actions, but remarks that a certain catastrophe 500 years ago severed their relationship completely. Finti suggests that they head to Liyue to speak with the Geo Archon, stating that he comes down once every year during the Rite of Dissension to determine how the nation will progress. He urges them to head there immediately, or they will have to wait another year for the next rite if they miss the Geo Archon.